when the Blues had the opportunity not to win the game, but to force it to extra time, defending 38 phases inside your own danger zone. That's incredible.
Right now, I probably dislike the Crusaders more than the Australian cricketers.
No, how can you?
I don't know, I just don't like the Crusaders.
Come on, how can you not like the Crusaders? They've come back.
How can you? They win it every second year.
Congrats to the team from Christchurch and coach Rob Penny. Turned it right around from one of their worst seasons ever. They're now 80 minutes from a 15th championship.
Welcome to the DSPN.
He's given him. Oh, there you go. He was forward. Oh, a punch up now in midfield. Fraser's involved.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to the podcast, people. Martin Devlin, Lachlan Waugh. Another edition of the DSPN. If you're listening across Rover, wherever you find your favourite podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple, Play. Well, this is where you get the full show / podcast. Here on the DSPN YouTube channel, we take the teppanyaki knives to it and we chop it and dice it into smaller chunks for your viewing pleasure over the next few days. Tony Johnson from Sky Sport joining us as he always does, looking back at the two semi-finals of Super Rugby, the two best teams in the final. I think for most of us, over the last 6-7 weeks or so, we thought that it would end here. Chiefs versus Crusaders, probably in that order, seeing as that how they finished, meaning the Chiefs hosting the final. Instead, we go back down to the Addington car park. Final time ever. Crusaders moving into that beautiful new Takaha Stadium next year. Crusaders going for their 15th win in 30 years of Super Rugby. What a stat that is. The Chiefs have beaten them twice in the round robin this year. Crusaders did win the final between these two teams 2 years ago. We're also going to go through our 10 most memorable ever Super Rugby finals. You can agree or disagree with this list. Leave your comments below, please. Hit the subscribe button for us as well. It does help. We're trying to get to 8,000 as soon as possible and then 10,000 subscribers before Christmas. All of this to come. We start the show the same way every day.
Marty Sermons, brought to you by WebWonks. Generate online leads with WebWonks. Doctors for your Google data.
We live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots.
It's one of the oldest cliches in sport. Defence wins championships. The Crusaders should be well aware of that saying. They've actually done this many times. In 2000 in Canberra, they won a final, their first three-peat, on barely 15% possession. It was all defence. Against the Blues Friday night, they certainly showed they have more than enough determination, commitment and desperation to go on and win this whole thing again. For the 15th time then in 30 seasons. It's just an incredible stat to yell about, isn't it? What complete dominance of a competition do those numbers demonstrate? One win every 2 years? They hung on against the Blues, barely hung on. Wave after wave of attack, phase after phase to defend, penalties inevitable. The way the rules are, the way that the game is ref, there's always penalties at this stage of the game, at this time of the game. This is when this is happening at this particular point in the game. We saw the same sort of finish the week before, Blues versus Chiefs. That night the Chiefs couldn't hang on. Friday night in Christchurch felt like a replay, but of course it wasn't, because this time the Blues couldn't get it done. A converted try would have only levelled it, not won it. But it felt and looked awfully like a replay of that quarterfinal match in Hamilton. The Crusaders weren't lucky, but I think they did ride their luck. From 14-0 down, they held the Blues scoreless. That is what is most impressive. The manner of victory you can question, because it wasn't pretty, and at times it was shabby, but they got it done. And at this stage of the season, more important than anything else, you've got to trust your defence. You hold, the other team to 2 scores or less, then it's more than likely you'll probably win. They'll need every ounce of that same defensive effort to beat the Chiefs in the final this weekend, though. The Chiefs won comfy. Brumbies win that game till about half-time, and then they weren't. They won't fear at all going to Christchurch. The Chiefs, they've already won there 5 weeks ago, 35-19, kept the Crusaders scoreless in the second half, beaten them twice this season already, and both times ran away with it late and blew the score out. Played some of their best rugby of the season, beating the Crusaders at home. But home advantage is still home advantage. So big ups and congrats to the team from Christchurch and coach Rob Penny. Turned it right around from one of their worst seasons ever. They're now 80 minutes from a 15th championship, which is why they're so far and away the best franchise in this competition. Winning isn't everything. To them, winning is the only thing. A lot is going to be said over the next few days in the build-up to the final, and at the moment, the TRB got it split. They can't choose. $1.90 each. Who's favourite? Why they'll win. I'll go right back to the beginning of this epistle and re-emphasise that word defence. Home advantage is what probably makes the Crusaders, I think, slightly ahead, but it's their defence that you just wouldn't bet against.
Devlin.
Tight five time, Lachlan.
Tight five.
5 separate sporting topics, roughly a minute or so on each. And when we are reminded, on to the next topic we go. In no particular order. A lot of motorsport to get through today. F1 GP in Canada. Shane van Gisbergen winning as well. WTC, and that's the World Test Championship. And we all rejoice because Australia lost. The Saffers finally shed the choke tag and they won a major final. The Bulldogs sit top of the NRL, 24-18 win over Souths. Origin to come this week. Bayern Munich just bum-shellacking Auckland City in the FIFA Club World Championships. $1.90, too hard to call. That's both for the Chiefs and the Crusaders ahead of Super Rugby in the final this coming weekend. And Finn Allen breaks a T20 scoring record in the United States. Do you care about that, Lachlan? We're not going to talk US Open because it's still going on while we're doing this because of the rain delay. The thing I love about the US Open, though, if we will talk briefly about it, is I love the fact that stuff all people ever under the card. So whoever wins it normally wins it with -1, -2, something like that. And it also means that right up until the last few holes, there's always 5 or 6 guys that are always in with a chance of winning the tournament. That's why I like the US Open.
Yeah, as this is being recorded, of course, it's still going on. Last time I checked, there was a 5-way tie for the lead.
There you go.
One of those 5 guys, I think only one of those 5 has won a major, and that was Adam Scott back in 2013 when he won the Masters. I don't think he's won anything
Steve
else
Williams
ever since.
won that major, as a matter of fact, I think, if you do check.
So, no, it's great. I love that the 5, at this point in time, the 5 leaders are 1 over. So it's not like we've got a Dustin Johnson at the Masters in 2020 when he was 20 under.
Yeah.
I like it when the golfers are actually being put to the test.
Yeah, and that's what the US Open does, doesn't it? So it's always good. All right, let's talk about Shane van Gisbergen, who won in Mexico. First race there in Mexico, NASCAR, and that gives him a place now in the NASCAR Cup Series playoff series. So 2 years ago, he won in Chicago, Shane van Gisbergen. It was that long ago, almost 2 years ago, and now he wins in Mexico. Brilliant. Great news for New Zealand motorsport, and for him, obviously, particularly, but great news. I mean, this is the whole thing. He goes over there. He can't just be also ran. He's got to break through and he's got to start winning races. So this is big time, isn't it?
Yes, and I don't think the results for Van Gisbergen have been so great since he's become a full-time driver in NASCAR. And this is, I guess, because it's his second Cup Series win, so that means it's his first win since becoming a full-time driver, because when he won Chicago, he was still in supercars, winning from pole, and on the circuit that I believe holds the Mexican Grand Prix in Formula One, so it's obviously quite a famed circuit. No, it's a great result. Well done, Shane. Nearly 2 years since he won that race in Chicago as well. I'd imagine he gets a monkey off his back in some ways. This is being incredibly nitpicky, but he still is yet to really get some, standout results on the ovals.
Driving left, yeah.
But
that'll come.
Well, it'll come, but also it's like getting, someone who's played rugby union or rugby league, say, in this part of the world to become a star in American football. It's really hard to, I guess, overcome that when you're going up against people who've done that their whole life.
Liam Lawson didn't finish F1 GP this morning, Canada, but all the news and the noise was at the front of the race where the 2 McLarens took each other out with just laps to go.
And Lando Norris took himself out.
Okay, yeah.
And what I love is actually he admitted to...
Isn't that good?
As soon as he...
A Formula One driver admits to making a mistake.
Because when I watched it,
teammate.
I'm sitting there thinking, geez, this is Lando's fault. I hope he doesn't try and blame any of this on Oscar Piastri. And he, on the radio to his team, said, no, that was my fault, just a stupid move. My apologies. And I like Lando a lot more now because he took the blame for that.
I'm for Liam Lawson, something to do with the power unit, which means the car just lost power.
Can I just say, for Mercedes though, this is actually turning into a really good season for them, because I think a lot of people, a lot of the fair weather fans, a lot of the looser, more casual fans would have thought Lewis is gone, the team's down to the dumps. They've only really existed off his success, which isn't really true, because they've actually got quite a bit of history in Formula One, has Mercedes. But they've just scored their first win of the season, and both their drivers are actually probably performing a lot better than what people expected. And meanwhile, Ferrari continue to get these 6th, 7th and 8th place finishes.
They ain't happy, Lewis.
Well, no, they're not doing too well, Ferrari.
Bulldogs won against South Sydney, top of the table. Still, that's the 12th round in a row, was it? They're top of the table. They've only lost 2 games all year. So they're still the best team in the NRL. Let's make that point clear, even though they let a few points in against South Sydney, but they had that game in control.
Well, they did. I mean, they only won by 6. I think Toby Sexton, kicked a goal. Might not have been him, but I think it was him. Kicked a goal that put them up by 10, so that pretty much sealed it late on. But Souths came back. I mean, there was this massive, nearly half-hour-long suspension due to some lightning.
Yeah.
So the Dogs were cruising. I think they got all 3 of their tries, those first 3, rather, in the first, 15, 16 minutes, and then Souths came back, so...
Weather delays play, you know what happens?
Not comfy. I wouldn't be comfortable if I'm the Bulldogs coaching group, but it's another win. They haven't looked, again being nitpicky, they haven't looked the complete side, I think, since that Broncos loss. I mean, they came back really well against Canberra, but I remember they had a win against the Roosters that was a bit dodgy in parts. I don't think they looked great against Souths. They are still winning, but they are missing players because of Origin, to be fair. Man. So, all that matters is the 2 points at this time of year.
All that matters. The Australians lost the World Test Championship final, and be gleeful and joyous about it, because this is a team that doesn't mind the fact that the rest of the cricket world despises them, because that's the way they play, that's their shtick, that's who they are. They're not very nice on the field. They're happy to cheat whenever they possibly can and can get away with it if they think that that's going to help them win. There's nothing at all likeable about the Australian cricketers, and so when they lose, the rest of the cricket world celebrates, because it's only just a momentary thing. It's like the Crusaders having one bad year. They're back again in the final. They're not as hated, obviously, as the Australian cricketers, but the Australian cricketers, when they lose, I love it, and the rest of the world loves alongside me. And they will be back soon, so celebrate the fact the sod's lost.
Right now, I probably dislike the Crusaders more than the Australian cricketers.
No, how can you?
Because... I don't know. I just don't like the Crusaders very
Come
much.
on, how can you not like the Crusaders? They've come back.
How can you? They win it every second year. They win it.
This is their fill. Let's do that. This is their sick of it. The Crusaders.
Sick of it.
They got the chance to win it for the 15th time in 30 years. It's just ridiculous.
I jumped on the wagon last year because they were losing so much, and everyone was sticking it to Rob Penny.
I was sticking it to them, but not to Rob. I thought that was unfair.
Yeah, well, I jumped on the wagon. I was like, no, screw you guys. I love the Crusaders. I love the C team. That is just no. I'm done. I'm so anti-Crusaders now.
Well, I mean, who do you hate more, them or the Chiefs?
Yeah, the Chiefs aren't very good, are they? I mean, stuff that their Mad Monday issue from
the gravel
few years
chucking.
ago. Yeah, it was the bus driver's fault.
That's all. Yeah, the 7-year-old bus driver, all his fault.
And yeah, because they're from that part of the country, which isn't really that nice.
What do you want? Do you want the winners at least down in the South Island where you don't have to hear about it, or do you want them on your doorstep?
No, because they all come up to Auckland. I tell you what, at least in our industry, there are so many Cantabrians in the city. They just don't shut up about their blimmin' Crusaders.
Well, call it now. It's $1.90 each way at the moment on the TAB. They can't.
It'll move closer towards the Crusaders, surely.
I think the home advantage has got actually.
And also, there's a bit of a question mark around Sean Stevenson. I'd imagine, based on how the game is officiated overall, not just in-game these days, that I can't imagine he'll play. That's just a guess. I think the Chiefs. I think they're a better team.
Well, they've done it twice, and they beat them down there 5 weeks ago.
2 years ago, they won both games. The Chiefs against the Crusaders in the regular season. Come finals time or grand final time in Hamilton, they lost.
Mm-hmm. So, Bayern Munich 10. Auckland City, no. This is a real shame. Look, Auckland City have actually got a really good history at the FIFA World Club Champs. This is a revised tournament.
Club World Cup.
Club, or whatever it's bloody called every year. They change it. And this time they've got 180 teams, and it's just...
Well, to be fair, it's
over-bloated is what it is.
Well,
like
it's
everything
more
to
of
do
an
with
event
FIFA
these days.
And, but they're up against the Bundesliga champions, who picked a damn good side against them. And it was just really amateurs versus professionals. It's an embarrassing result. It's not an embarrassment, the fact that Auckland City are there, but it's an embarrassing result.
I don't think it is, because the Auckland City players are part-timers, and it's the commentators when
this is the best bit.
Introducing the teams. They talk about Bayern Munich, all these great players, Harry Kane, you've got Michael Olise and Jamal Musiala, Kingsley Coman, all these great players, Thomas Muller. And then they bring up the Auckland City team sheet, and they go, well, this guy is a part-time plumber, and this guy had to use up all of his annual leave to actually come over here, and that guy's actually a sparky.
That puts it in perspective.
Well, yeah, and Auckland City aren't turning up thinking, geez, we could do a bit of damage. They'll feel a bit defeated in many ways.
They're proud to get there, and they still cash in regardless.
It's a great occasion for them to play against some of the best players in the world.
Just a bummer it was 10-0. I mean, and everything I looked at, as soon as they got the ball, they just gave it back to them and that. And so,
how many casual football fans in this country do you think looked at that and went, I thought Auckland FC's season was done?
Every single one.
I thought the A-League was over.
That was it. Everyone's looking at it going, Auckland, God, I thought they're dead.
Why are they over there now?
Why are they in? Yes. Finn Allen breaks T20 record.
You would have been filthy seeing this.
Scores 151 and 51 deliveries. No, I don't like what he did as far as turning his back on New Zealand cricket. I've got nothing against the guy, but I'm sick of the fact that New Zealand cricket take it up the chutney with these players and let them just do what they want. He's got a record, the most sixes in a T20 game. Congratulations. Whenever you
What
get
did he get? 151 off 50?
51. 19 sixes.
153 maybe it was.
And look, the bowling wasn't that bad. The bowling, he was hitting Ration and Glenn Phillips and Sears. So it's not like he's batting bunnies.
Jeez, he was playing New Zealand?
He was playing New Zealanders and he was smacking
Pretty
them.
much.
Yeah. But it's just, look, it's Major League cricket, and I've got as much interest as I have in Major League Rugby and Major League of Rugby League starts.
I guess at least with Major League Cricket, there's more names.
These sports playing this in the States, I mean, honestly, what? The Unicorns were playing the Freedom? Where do
their names are a bit naff, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're not great, the names.
No, so congratulations to him. He gets a record, and that just your name's up in there.
Well, the frustrating thing
is... The cricket to me over the weekend was at Lords. It's not this.
Yeah, agreed. Well, Test cricket's real cricket, come on. But the thing with Finn Allen that's frustrating, and I'm annoyed that he's turned his back, and I don't want people who... I don't
want him to ever play for New Zealand again.
He still can, obviously, but he doesn't have the contract.
I don't want him to.
But, I want people to wear that jersey because they want to represent New Zealand.
Yeah.
But also...
You can go and play your T20 tournaments everywhere you want.
But something that's frustrating is he's an obvious talent. He just needed to sharpen up some of the judgment of how he was hitting certain balls and what ones you'd smack, what ones you'd defend and all that sort of stuff. But he is an absolute talent and a power hitter of the ball. It's a bit of a shame that he's not playing for us more than he should be.
Yeah,
it feels.
I just kind of feel like, I mean, who's watching? But you got the record. Well done.
This is the DSPN.